A message to all research supervisors: thank you. Keep going. You matter. Acknowledging the unseen sacrifices of research supervisors who shape minds and futures in academia. Please tag your research supervisor, tag your former research supervisor, tag any research supervisor you know. This message is for them, but it's also for you as you are listening. So don't go away. This is Dr. Wilbert Mutoko, the Research Mentor Africa. And I'm glad to welcome you to this message. For the research supervisors, are you aware that 62% of supervisors report high stress? 62% of research supervisors report high stress. 48% of them experience emotional burnout. 61% of them supervise without admin support. 61%. 74% of research supervisors say their supervision workload is underestimated by management. 76% of supervisors act as a counselor and therapist on top of academic duties, of which they were never trained to become counselors and therapists. 41% say their mental health has declined in the last 3 to 5 years. Supervisors spend 26 to 40% of their time on supervision tasks, often unpaid. Let me allow that to sink in. Nevertheless, students are under pressure too. 57% of research students feel completely lost. That is more than half of them. 35% of them suffer anxiety. And 1 in 3, which is 1/3, struggle with writing, making supervision emotionally heavier. So let's talk. This presentation is dedicated to all research supervisors and all future research supervisors who play a pivotal role in the academic journey of students. Your hard work and dedication often go unrecognized, but today we take a moment to acknowledge your invaluable contributions to shaping minds and building nations. If it was not for research supervisors, I would not be here talking to you. Everybody of you listening to me right now, you would not be listening to me if I didn't have a supervisor during my master's, if I didn't have a supervisor during my PhD, if I didn't have some teachers that supervised me from primary school through high school to A level. We have all benefited from supervisors, and we need to celebrate them. Supervisors, we see the Lord that you carry. We see the Lord that you carry. High student to supervisor ratio in South Africa, for example. Supervisors in South Africa face overwhelming workloads, often managing between 10 and 15 postgraduate students each. This high student to supervisor ratio, as documented in a 2025 study, places immense pressure on supervisors, leading to delayed feedback and increasing burnout, according to Health Research Africa. Now, this is not just about Africa, but even in quite a number of parts of the world, this challenge is there, where supervisors are overwhelmed. Multifaceted roles of supervisors. The workload for supervisors extends beyond student supervision, encompassing teaching, marking, committee work, grant writing, and administrative tasks. This multifaceted role often leaves them without adequate institutional support, exacerbating the challenges faced. Again, according to Health Research Africa. Burnout and cynicism among supervisors. A global survey involving 560 supervisors and 768 PhD candidates reveals a concerning trend. While many supervisors express passion for their work, a significant minority report signs of burnout or cynicism. This reflects systemic pressures and inadequate institutional support affecting their well being. This is according to Springerlink. The emotional labor, balancing roles. The emotional labor, balancing roles. When you are also a therapist, an editor, a coach, things can become a bit too much for you. Why? Students carry heavy emotional burdens. The unique challenges faced by students in many contexts, including Africa, can lead to significant emotional burdens. Many students deal with financial pressure, family obligations, and personal trauma that can greatly affect their academic performance. As a supervisor, being aware of these challenges is essential to providing appropriate support. So, what we are saying is, we see you, our supervisors, we honor you, we celebrate you. But please note that these students that you are taking care of, they are human beings. I remember one time I was supervising a PhD student and she just went quiet. She was not talking to me. I reached out to her. Are you okay? Is everything fine? She said, I've not been well. I've been in and out of hospital. So I had to comfort her and encourage her. And guess what? By the end of the year, she was able to submit her proposal. But if I had not followed her up, who knows? Maybe she would have just stopped coming to school completely. So, as a supervisor, please let's remember that our students also have emotional burdens. I've spoken with Dr. Ndlovu, not a real name, a seasoned supervisor in Lusaka, who told me candidly, by the end of the week, I'm not just an academic advisor, I'm a father, confessor, editor, counselor. Yes, that's what happens. Recent South African research confirms this is commonplace. In one qualitative study, students described poor supervision, slow feedback, unclear direction, unavailable supervisors as a major source of emotional stress, isolation, and even depression. That's according to Health Research Africa. That's emotional labor on top of academic labor, unseen and mostly unacknowledged. Supervisors as multifaceted support systems. You heard what I talked about Dr. Ndlovu? That's not Dr. Ndlovu's real name. Dr. Ndlovu has decided to be almost everything to the student to support them so that they can proceed with their studies. Poor supervision leads to emotional distress. Poor supervision, it leads to emotional distress for our students. Why your work still matters as a research supervisor. The impact is deeper than you can ever think of. In spite of the challenges, your dedication is crucial for shaping futures and driving societal progress. The 2024 Global Well-Being Study highlights that effective supervision not only boosts completion rates, but also significantly enhances the mental health and career trajectories of both students and supervisors, emphasizing the vital role you play in their journeys as a research supervisor. Tactics for survival and thriving. I'll call this the Supervisor Survival Toolkit. Set realistic supervision caps. Set realistic supervision caps. That's why it's important as a supervisor to sit down with your supervisee at the beginning of the journey and make sure you sign a memorandum of understanding and you agree on the timelines and make sure the timelines are realistic. Then you can also have progress reports every 6 months where possible. Then use structured feedback. Your feedback must be structured. Not that at one time you give feedback via SMS, another time via email, another time via WhatsApp. No, let it be structured. Schedule fixed feedback time blocks. It's important not only for you to put tracked changes on the draft for your student, but also to have, as much as possible, regular feedback time blocks. Number 4, delegate non-academic tasks. Delegate non-academic tasks. Where possible, if things are getting too heavy for you, there are things you could delegate. You can delegate to your juniors, or in some cases, if you are failing to get time for your research supervisee, but they can actually help you with something else, why not? I would love to hear what you think about that in the comment section. Number 5, encourage peer support groups. You should also have peer support and also allow the students to have a WhatsApp group or a physical group where they can meet and encourage each other. The next one is leverage ethical technology use. These days we have AI. Allow your students to use technology ethically. Allow them, for example, if they want to know the trends in research, they can use AI. If they want to know the gap, they can use AI, but the development of the proposal can then be done by the student themselves. Practice self-care and boundaries. As a supervisor, yes, I know sometimes as supervisors, we end up having to meet students over the weekend or in the evening because we don't have enough time for them during the day. That's okay, it's understandable. But don't let work abuse you, and don't allow your supervisors to abuse you, because you'll end up losing your health. And lastly, advocate for institutional support. There should be enough support from the institution for you to be able to do your job. So remember, your work changes lives. There is a story of Dr. Achola in Kenya, which exemplifies this power. He mentored a student from a humble background, guiding him through challenges to become a climate change researcher, influencing national policy. Your legacy is profound and lasting. This supervisee you see today will not always be a supervisee. You are bringing up a giant that will benefit the nations, that will benefit you also in the future. But for now, it doesn't show. Final blessing and call to action as a supervisor: your unwavering dedication often goes unrecognized, and unfortunately, but it is vital. Your role is more than just academic, it is foundational for the growth of future leaders and innovators. Remember to prioritize your well being by setting boundaries and utilizing the Supervisor Survival Toolkit. By fostering community among colleagues and supporting each other, you create an environment where both you and your students can thrive. Your contribution is irreplaceable, and the world is better for it. Summary: highlighting the challenges and emotional burdens that we have already talked about. 10 to 15 postgraduate students supervised by one person in most African places. 70% of students experience delay due to poor supervision. 80% postgraduate students facing emotional stress. 560 supervisors participated in a global study, and they mentioned that they are facing challenges too. 768 students also took part. God bless you. I love you, Dr. Wilbert.